Hey, how's it going? I just want to shoot a quick video, a little walkthrough on some of the games that I have. I've done a few DVD videos, VHS videos. Just a quick rundown of the games that I like to play. First off, this is for the PSP. I don't think I ever owned it for any other system but the PSP. Silent Hill Origins. Pretty cool prequel to the Silent Hill games. I liked it. Took a few bus rides and brought this along with me. The gameplay on it was pretty cool for a handheld system. Graphics were pretty decent. Haunting Ground, I guess you call it survival horror. My wife and sons got into this a little more than I did, but it still has distinct playability. I like it. Very cool. This game, I had always wanted to play it and didn't play it until recently. I don't know what the delay was, but it's Doom 3 for the original Xbox. This is the limited collector's edition. Metal box, very slick looking. It's a gift from my son. I appreciate that. Thank you. For PS2, Fatal Frame. If you're into ghost stories, this is definitely one to check out. You have to capture ghosts with a camera. It has some genuinely creepy and intensely eerie scenes in this. My wife has beaten this thing about 3 times already. She's pretty good at this game. Followed by Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly. This was like one of the more rare ones of the series, because when I went to go look for a used copy of it, it was really hard to find them. Finding it was really cool. Fatal Frame 3, The Tormented. I almost said The Tortured. Again, a lot of ghosts, a lot of... Japanese are really good about ghosts. Their movies are... About 90% of their movies have to do with ghosts of some sort. So why not the games too, right? But this one actually has some really cool imagery in it. Graphics are really cool. For the PS2, also I have Hunter the Reckoning, Wayward. I believe this is part 2 to the Hunter the Reckoning series. I always played as the dude with the muscles. I don't know why, he looks like a biker or something. But yeah, it's neat. You fight the undead. If you like games with possessed, evil, dead people in it. I tried not to say Evil Dead, but it just came out that way. Sorry. Did a cover on these 2 titles, but I'm including them with all of them. It's Manhunt. You get to exact a little vengeance and also kill some very distasteful people and dispose of them in very creative ways. For a PS2 title, it's pretty hardcore, I have to admit. Manhunt 2. This one they kind of brought the censoring in. They put like this digital censoring over it. Talked about it in the last video. Didn't dig that part too much. Plus the graphics on it were a little off to me. It wasn't as... You don't expect a lot from PS2 titles, but as far as comparing this one to this one looks like they might have rushed it a little bit, because like the hands look bigger, they look too big or something. I don't know. It's just kind of odd. Even the needles, the syringes look like damn turkey basters. I don't know. I think they could have spent a little more time on doing that instead of spending so much time censoring out everything. Clock Tower 3 for the PS2. Clock Tower 1 and 2 were PS1 titles, and I used to have Clock Tower 1 at one point. Don't have it anymore. I hope to replace it one day, because it was a pretty cool game. Had its intense moments. A lot of back and forth, a lot of, you know, side-scrolling stuff, but it was great. This one doesn't really stick with the storyline, but it is pretty cool. A lot of time travel and things like that, but when it gets to the heart of the matter, it is pretty creepy. Here's an oldie but a goodie for the Dreamcast, D2. I don't know if anybody's ever played D. It was okay, but D2 is you know, survival horror. And the thing is that this thing is on like 4 discs. That's why the case is so thick. See that? It's a 4-disc game. I have my Dreamcast. I don't have all the hookups for it, so it's been a while since I've played this. Maybe I'll resurrect that thing one day and give it a try. Xbox 360, I got Deadly Premonition, cool little investigative game where you have to pick up hints and clues, and it's pretty gory, bloody. It has some good bloody scenes in it. Intense violence and partial nudity. It warns against that. You know, if it's got the M rating, it's got to be good. I'm waiting for them to grow some balls and release an AO title. Also for the 360, I have Bioshock. I don't know what to say about this game. I like it. I really do. It's just the soundtrack on it is kind of like cheerful, but not like warped Christmas music kind of. Not in this game, but along those lines. It's just a little, I don't know, a little unnerving at times. Some of the villains that you face are kind of outrageous. Left 4 Dead 2, I don't have Left 4 Dead 1 anymore. I think I'm going to replace it. But Left 4 Dead 2 is pretty much, if you played the first one, you know what you get into with this one. Other than there's some new enemies in here like clowns, jockeys, and spitters. Those are new. Spitters spit acid from way down the street. They'll still hit you with the spit and burn you. Jockeys jump on you and pull you towards the zombie hordes. And the clowns are just zombie clowns. It's funny though, if you hit them in the face, you hear the nose go, ha ha. So it's kind of funny. This takes place in New Orleans. I don't know where the other one took place in. I never really caught that. I want to say Philadelphia, but I don't know. They say the third one's going to take place in Australia. Can't wait to check that out. This is my GameCube game, and that is my dog snoring off to the side there with his eyes rolled up in his head. Can you hear him? It's crazy, man. Eternal Darkness. This is another one that my wife and kids really, really dug. They really played the hell out of it. They're going on a trip today. So maybe while they're gone, I'll introduce myself to this game and see if I can get into it. GameCubeism in the room, so we'll check on that. For the Wii, I have Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. I tried to get Resident Evil Darkside Chronicles, but I failed and didn't get it. But Umbrella Chronicles, I do have. Pretty cool first-person shooter. You know, and if you're into the Resident Evil games at all, it's one to add to the collection. As is for the PlayStation 2, Resident Evil Dead Aim. I also had Resident Evil Survivor at one time for the PS1, and that game sucked. It was just horrible. I mean, it was just bad. Couldn't aim up. The storyline blew. The whole thing was just garbage. This one kind of redeems itself as far as first-person shooters go. It's pretty cool. Speaking of Resident Evil, Resident Evil 0 for the GameCube. I would have liked to have gotten Resident Evil 0 for the N64. I believe it was N64 SNES. I think it was N64. Never got it, but this one is alright. This one was a good play, good graphics, great graphics on it, and a good addition to the Resident Evil line. Also, of course, you have to have the Resident Evil 1 Redux that they did for the GameCube. Graphics were like tweaked out. The maps are almost the same, but not quite. The enemies you face are pretty much the same, but it just looks sharper, looks a lot better than the floating PS1 graphics where you're kind of like walking on air, where you're going everywhere and walking into walls, and very blocky movement. But this one kind of took it to another level, as they say. Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 2, graphics weren't tweaked on this one, it was just made for the GameCube. And this one I do have on the N64 somewhere, but that cartridge has just gone MIA on me. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, it's my favorite in the series, I have to be honest. I don't know why, but I really like the creature that's in it, the Nemesis creature. I like that he can chase you from frame to frame. You can't just run to another room and be rid of him. He will follow you, he will chase you down, and that makes it a little more exciting for me. So, Resident Evil Nemesis. And followed by, of course, Resident Evil 4, which got a lot of high rankings from a lot of people and won a lot of big awards and was named top game of the century and I don't know what else. But it was cool. I liked the whole deal behind it. Got rid of the zombie deal and just made like a lot of like diseased people that had a sickness. But it was still very good. Still an excellent game. And that is it for the game collection. I have a few more, but they're mostly like sport games and stuff, or SingStar. Those are the family games. Those are the ones where we all get together and kind of bond. We don't really bond on Resident Evil too much. Although we did have a bonding experience with Resident Evil 5, but that's for a later date. We won't talk about that right here, okay? Forget everything you've heard. Go to sleep.